Brother, I can't stop him alone. He threatens both of our worlds. You must stop Mephisto.
What a waste of my time. I am unimpressed. Mephisto!
How's it going, everybody? We have a super exciting video for you today because today we get to do the exclusive kit reveal for Daimon Hellstorm. And I do think this guy has incredible plug and play value, not just in War. And in War, him and his team are going to be absolutely bonkers. We can see that just by reading his kit. But I do want to give you a quick backstory on this character before we jump in, because I did a little bit of research and I gotta say, it really intrigued me. And it actually made me want to go get a bunch of comic book arcs that he's going to be a part of, because it's a really mature, different sort of storylines. And I thought that was really cool, because I know a lot of people don't really know much about Daimon Hellstorm. So first of all, he is the son of a demon who is kind of posing as Satan by the name of Marduk Kurios. I know some people are going to correct me on that, and that's fine. Let me know in the comments how it's supposed to be pronounced. And that was a pretty intense guy. That guy ruled over parts of hell. And he also has a sister. Of course, they already told us that in the blog, Satana. And they can't be more different. Daimon is very much a mama's boy, where he kind of sides with humanity, and Satana's more of a daddy's girl, where let's just say she's not so great for humanity. But they have grouped up in the past to take on the likes of Mephisto, Dormammu, basically anything in the occult Daimon has had his hands on. He has ruled parts of hell for a period of time. He was married to Hellcat, who's on his team, but she died trying to bring him back from the dead, which was super sad. Yeah, I definitely want to read that storyline. I think you guys should too, if you are big comic book nerds like I am. Just a really kind of rich occult backstory, which is not something I'm super familiar with when it comes to Marvel. The stories just seem bigger than some of my favorite comic book arcs. Like, I love World War Hulk, but, you know, who rules over hell, and is Dormammu gonna have his grips on reality? Like, these are some big, heavy topics that I think are really interesting. But anyway, I'm kind of nerding out. Let's go ahead and talk over Daimon's kit, because I think this is also just as exciting. So his tags: Hero, Global, Mystic, Controller, Brimstone, with a speed stat of 134. And with a speed stat of 134, that should be immediately a green flag for you, because speed stat is everything in this game. And in our favorite game modes like War and Crucible right now, there's so many avenues to control speed stat manipulation to stop increase base speed stats, speed up, slow, to stop speed bar, both in the positive and negative directions. So a lot of the times it comes down to our base speed stat. So 134, Daimon is incredibly interesting. I think about a comparison with Songbird. What does Songbird do? She hits everybody, she flips buffs, or removes buffs, and she puts offense down, which is incredible. Very powerful. Her speed set's 132. Can Daimon come in and do something as interesting? Because we don't use Songbird on her team in either War or Crucible. Could Daimon fit that bill? Spoiler alert, not for War. This team is insane in War. But in Crucible, this guy's going to be pretty special, I think. I think about my nightmare team is always going to be Emma X, Nightcrawler, Professor X, because that controls all the different avenues of speed step manipulation. Nightcrawler has speed up, and he can do speed bar to his team, and he stops your OG Emma from reducing speed stat. Emma X stops your team from gaining speed stat Professor X stops you from getting speed up. I don't think you can put slow on the team until he's taken a turn, and there's no speed bar until he's taken a turn as well, both in the plus and minus direction. So at 134, Daimon could be a super interesting piece to help deal with Professor X teams. We're going to have to wait and see. But let's keep going with the kit. So, basic, Soul Piercer. Attack primary target for 200% piercing. It chains to one target, gains offense up, and also applies assist now to a random Hellcat ally. So we might want Hellcat as a skirmisher so we get some triple taps going. We'll have to wait and see. The ISO 8, counter attack and assists. Maybe we can get assists going. I don't know the other Brimstone character kits, by the way. I only know what they told us in the strike spot, which was pretty interesting and definitely builds on what we see here, but not enough for me to make like big connections yet. So I'm going to wait until I see those character kits. Attack the primary target for 150% piercing, and he also gains offense up on the ISO attack. So again, maybe we'll see some of that triple tap interactions. But that's just the basic. And it's a really strong, really fun basic. Gain offense up, do an assist, cool. What's the special look like? Energy cost, 3 out of 5, so this is a turn 2. This one's called Beckoning Inferno. Clear all barrier on all enemies. Love that. It's very powerful. Attack all enemies for 300% piercing, plus 10% of each target's max health. I love seeing the max health, especially because we've been seeing it a lot lately. Where my head immediately goes is if I have a 3-star character, 300% piercing damage from my Daimon may not be the same or even close to 10% of Odin's max health, right? So it made 10% of Professor X max health. So this could be a way where lower star characters, we get to see extra damage from them. Now, it doesn't explicitly say that this will bypass health triggers like Satana's does, so I don't think it will do that. I think if this attack pushes an endgame Thanos below 50%, he will always do his passive, so keep that in mind. But I love that addition of the max health damage. More importantly, clear all battlefield effects on the allied side. So if we go and we look at Odin's kit real quick, you'll see that Odin's battlefield effect is clearing battlefield effects on the enemy side and apply battlefield effects to the enemy side. The enemy side here, if it's an enemy Odin, is our allied side, right? So that's going to be kind of a direct shout out for our Daimon to be countering at least the Odin battlefield effect in all game modes. This is not hidden behind war. And at 134, so what I can do now, if there's an Odin team, is I can devise a team that is slower than Daimon, which is literally every character except for Black Widow and Yo-Yo outside of speed mechanics that could be in play, and faster than Odin at 128. And what that would happen, you know, outside of the realm of me getting turn meter around along the way, is Odin could get his battlefield effect up, but then my Daimon is going to go right after him and just remove his battlefield effect, and it's just gone. Right? That's a very niche kind of understanding of what this can happen. But my point is I've always been looking for a character that's either just slower than Odin to clear that battlefield effect, or so fast that he is going almost directly after Odin's battlefield effect is applied. Because this could mean we are now more freely able to put ability block on Odin, let him do his basic, and then just clear that battlefield effect. There could be lots of applications for this in lots of different game modes, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Then we got the ultimate. Now I had to break the ultimate up. The ultimate is so cool. Oh my god, you can see it on the screen right now. But I had to break the ultimate up from what it does outside of war and what it does inside of war. So Hellstorm, turn 1 ability, 8 out of 8 energy cost. You're probably going to do this once per match, though we're going to see he does gain energy. Flips offense down on himself, so he's not going to have offense down when he does his attack. In fact, if he gets an ISO attack or assist out there, he'd have offense up for this attack. On kill, repeat this attack. Oh, I love that. Okay. He's going to have pretty crazy stats. We already know that. If he's hitting into older stat characters, if you can get overpowered on this guy, he's definitely going to be the first character I put my Mystic gear on for this team. And he gets a kill, he's going to repeat this attack. And it does a lot of damage. So it does 400% piercing damage. And it applies Disrupt and Trauma to all enemies. Yes, I said that. Turn 1 ability. He will apply Disrupt and Trauma to all enemies. And he's a fast character. He's a very, very fast character. So the only way you could stop this, if Daimon is going first, is to make sure that you have immunity. Because we're not flipping anything here. But think about a mode like Crucible. Well, there's characters that stop immunity on spawn. Looking at you, Havoc. Looking at you, Mysterio, under certain conditions, right? In Crucible, he doesn't have to go first. Look, we're not seeing any qualifier here where he needs to be the first character to go do this. We're going to see that in the war text in a second. So we could have characters that go before Daimon that set the stage for him, and he's already a fast character, right? Instantly, I think of, let's put Vulture with him, right? Vulture is so fast. If there's enemy heroes on the field, he does his special, he can clear a bunch of the immunities, and all of a sudden Daimon is following up, doing a bunch of damage, maybe getting a kill because he's not attacking into full life enemies at this point, covering them in a bunch of debuffs, repeating his attack. This is a very, very, very powerful plug-and-play ability. I love this. Is it on the same field as Songbird is the question, right? Is now Daimon the best plug-and-play character with the higher speed stat? Now, just having the higher speed stat, that could be true. In certain instances, he will be better than Songbird as a plug-and-play character. We're going to have to wait and see his damage, but also his attack ignores defense up, so it hits hard. It's going to hit really, really hard. Again, I think back to those Professor X Nightcrawler teams. If Daimon can one-shot the Nightcrawler, because a lot of people don't want to put Gear 220 on Nightcrawler, and maybe you do put it on your Daimon, and he repeats his attack, that could be something. That could absolutely be something. But this ability doesn't end here. Let's go check out the war part of this ability. And I do want you guys to know that this text that we see right now precedes the Disrupt and Trauma. So all this happens before Daimon tries to apply the Disrupt Trauma in War. So Hellstorm in War will also, if no character has completed a turn in this match, that's both on his team and on the enemy team. And this character has 3 Brimstone allies. So you do get 1 plug that you can take out of the Brimstone team. Probably Elsa, you could put a really powerful character in there. And he does not have Exhausted. Reduce the duration of all positive effects on by 2 on all enemies. So in War, even if the opponent does have that sort of Infinity Watch opener where they have Safeguard and Immunity, if Daimon is the first character to go and he's with his teammates, he will first reduce all those buffs and then apply Trauma and Disrupt. So we're really, really powerful. He clears Revive once from all enemies. He applies Ability Block to all support and controller enemies, and this attack gains 1000% extra focus against support and controller characters, and in War, this attack cannot be counterattacked, dodged, or blocked. So let's go back over to the website real quick, and let's check out some support characters and some controller characters that'd be pretty interesting to have that. What was it? It was an ability block right away. It was an ability block that it can be blinded, but nothing else, and it has extra focus on it. So controllers and support. This is support characters. Think about Apocalypse, but I don't really care about Apocalypse too much. Dormammu, we strip the revives off, but that's for anything. Miss Marvel Classic, getting a quick ability block would be huge. That'd be great. And that's about it for support. Now let's go ahead. Let's actually check the controllers as well. I assume the controllers are going to have more interesting ability blocks that we're going to be applying there. So, of course, there's Doom. You know, we've seen a resurgence of the Sinister 16, but nothing crazy yet. Null. Yes, Null. Getting a quick ability block would be absolutely huge. Old Man Logan. And for Old Man Logan, it would also be followed up with the Trauma, right? So, not only... Okay, this is big. Yeah, this is big. Professor X. Getting the ability block. So, he's going to be using his basic turn 1 if you can land it on him. So those are some big name characters. Yeah. Those are some really big name characters that extra focus. That's really cool. So like an Apocalypse is not going to come in here and stop these abilities from landing. So this was actually a really well-formed ability in my opinion. All right, and finally the passive Hell's Sun. On enemy death, heal self for 25% of his character's max health on enemy death. So if 2 died, does he heal 50%? Fill speed bar by 25%. So he's got that Vulture passive, so he's going to be taking a lot of turns. Generate 1 ability energy for 2 Brimstone allies or self who are not at full energy on the start of this turn. So although his ultimate is an 8 out of 8 ability, he could see that ability come back up if there's summons on the field or if it is the second attack that he may be defending. So pretty powerful stuff there. And in War, support and blaster enemies cannot gain charge. Well, let's go back into the website here and let's see who that is. We'll get rid of controllers for this one. We got support characters. Once again, that'd be Miss Marvel Classic. Her not getting charges would be huge. Any other character that we care about? I mean, not so much. Yeah, not so much. But let's go ahead and check out the blasters. Phantom Rider, he's not charged, right? Blaster's not charged. He's got bomb burst stacks. He's also not great in War anyway. Let's see, who else do we got here? Oh, look at him. All right, so Odin would not be able to get charged. If you ability block him, you would then be able to take off that battlefield effect rather quickly with the special from Daimon, so that's huge. So you can see, definitely really targeting the Odin here on that blaster callout. So that's pretty interesting, in my opinion. But the kit goes on. Enemies cannot have their speed increased except by positive effects and rage. Fantastic Four starting speed stat? Nope. Who else? Got New Avengers, Night Stalkers, Alpha Flight. There's a lot of characters that get that base speed stat increase now, but not against Daimon, so that's great. Looks like Null is getting a special carve out where he can still get speed stats, so I find that interesting. I guess the rest of his symbiote characters would not get the speed stat though. Enemies cannot have their resistance increased except by positive effects. Again, that would just be Apocalypse, I guess? Or does Apocalypse reduce focus or increase resistance? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's other character kits like, you know, OG Mr. Fantastic that increase resistance, but I'm not sure who that is directed at. The focus and damage of this character can only be reduced by offense down. Well, we know who that is directed at. That's definitely directed at Cosmic Ghost Rider. So Cosmic Ghost Rider is... Where is the ultimate? Here you go. Lower the focus by 5,000% and damage by 50% of any non-Mephisto that takes a turn before this character. So that is definitely a direct call out to Cosmic Ghost Rider. We see that guy all over the place. It's really shaping up to me that if you can only, or you only want to invest in one character, which is a really bad idea because this is a Conqueror's team and they'll be needed for the next Blaster event, right? And I had a lot of fun with that event anyway. If you're only going to go super heavy on one character, Daimon looks like he has some incredible plug and play power. Because look, in war, all this in war stuff is not needing extra brimstone characters. It just doesn't. He still gives himself energy. He still gets speed break. He's still super fast. Also, all those things happen outside of war, by the way. We do have the in-war portion, but only the reduction of abilities needs the extra characters. He will still, as a plug and play, clear revive once. He will still put ability blocks out there. It'll still be, cannot be counterattacked, dodged, or blocked, right? If you look at his special, there is nothing to war. If you look at his basic, there is nothing to war. This character looks bonkers from a plug-and-play perspective. I am super excited to get my hands on this guy. Like I said, he's going to be my instant gear tier 20 when I get this guy for the Misty gear. I have not seen the other character kits yet. I'm excited to see them, but I know that I'm most excited for Daimon. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. We will have gameplay video out for this character as a plug-and-play, as well as the entire team before you know it. But for now, let's just enjoy that we got some serious occult action going on for Halloween season. It's pretty dope. All right, guys. Bye for now.